Earlier this year, we released Air's automated report generation feature and compromise assessment template. This is designed to streamline your reporting workflow. And the reporting feature in Air automatically populates relevant investigation information efficiently and clearly with pre-built and customizable sections tailored to be specific for stakeholders and various audiences. Users can generate a report using Air's compromise assessment button via the secondary menu under reports or from the dashboard action button. So we'll go from here, from the dashboard where we are right now, and we can see there's an action button here that says generate report. When I select that, it opens up a wizard, and the wizard on the right hand side here has got the categories or the findings with a count associated with each one, and we're going to be looking at that in a short while, because perhaps the first thing we should consider is this nice ability over here in the secondary menu to decide whether or not we can actually just simply exclude some of the assets in our case. In this particular investigation, Henry Stanley and James Cook assets have already been removed from the case. And perhaps now I'm going to remove the John Cabot asset as well, because I know that these 3 machines have been discounted for any forward investigation. So I hit apply. That potentially would have affected the counts over here if any of the findings were relevant to those assets. So now I can go ahead and choose which ones of these findings I want to include in my report. So I've already in my mind decided that I'm not going to include any low or medium findings. I'm going to focus purely on the high and match findings. I can be a little bit more granular now thanks to our flagging feature that came with this new version 4.13. So I can actually narrow down based on any flags that are applied to these findings. So potentially I could remove any bookmarks and click done. And this, as you can see, has moved me right down to just 2 flagged findings in this particular case. I could do the same with matched. If I had any flagged findings, which I don't in this case, which the no entry sign is indicating, I could also narrow that down if there were flagged findings to narrow the focus. So all I need to do now is hit the next button and to move forward to step 2 on the wizard. You can see the steps outlined at the top of the box here. And this is where we can get even more granular and drill right down into each individual evidence item that could be included in this report. So what I could do here is, like as before, we can decide whether or not we just want to include the flagged items, all flagged evidence, or be selective. If we had multiple flags, we could choose from individual flags. Once we're happy that we are including this, the evidence from this list, simply come to the next step. And this is where we configure our report. So we can choose a company logo, we can choose a company name, we can choose a report name. By default, and one is automatically generated for you based on the name of the case and the date and time that this report is being generated. This is completely editable. So if I wanted to just call this one a demo for day 1, I could just edit the name, and this will be the name that the report is saved under. I can choose a time zone to present the case in, to the compromise assessment report. And then I can, from this position here, I can actually decide whether or not I want any of these predefined sections included in my report. But there's no need to worry, because all of these will be editable once we've generated our report by clicking on this button down in the bottom right-hand side. Once this button has been pressed down in the right-hand side, the report is being generated. And we end up with this iframe here, which is completely editable with a suite of tools across the top here, which gives you the ability to edit, change the font, remove whole sections. For instance, if I didn't want option 2 here at all, I could simply highlight it all and delete it and remove it. As we scroll down, we can see how we're presenting some of the findings with a findings overview, the high with the top breakdown of the items that we've included from a high point of view. I can export as a PDF, or I can save. If I'm happy where I am at this stage, I could save here, this with action button here, and I get a message saying that this is successfully updated. If I then go back, this will take me back to my reports tab in the secondary menu. And now I can see a complete listing of all of the previously generated reports in this particular case. This is super handy because any one of these I could use as a template. So for instance, the one that we've just generated, if I wanted to edit this, I'd simply come to the action button at the end of the ellipsis at the end of the row and click edit. This will open up the report again, and I could now make changes to this report here. Perhaps I could just delete the drone analyzer finding in here, because I just want to call it drone instead of drone analyzer. And now I can hit save. And that report would also be saved for me, and I get the successfully updated. So it's completely flexible, gives you the ability to tailor your reports for individual customers or stakeholders, depending on their requirements.